Here at the Hershey Story, we have a lot of interactives. This section that we're in right now is called Power of Promotion. The Hershey Company didn't really use national media or mass marketing techniques until about 1970 was the first TV commercial they ever ran. So we kind of look at different ways that they kind of got their brand out there in front of people and made Hershey such a famous product. We have a lot of these touch screens, and by using them you can actually look at different items that are in our collection that are not on exhibit. We have far more things than we could ever exhibit at one time. Before he started using his branded packaging of maroon and silver, he had a lot of different very elaborate chocolate novelties. Hershey fans are just one example of that. We also have an activity where you can design your own candy wrapper. She's my favorite advertisement piece here. So you can use historic packaging and marketing material like posters and things like that to decorate your bar. Sometimes my finger doesn't want to work. You can change the color, you can rotate things, you can make them bigger or smaller, so it's pretty cool. And then when you're finished, you can email it to yourself and print it out, and it'll fit around a Hershey's bar. Milk chocolate involves three main ingredients: milk, sugar, and cocoa beans. Milton Hershey really had a lot of control over his milk supply because he owned a lot of dairy farms in the area. Cocoa beans are a little tougher to be in charge of, but he did really want to have a little more control over his sugar supply. So in 1916, the chocolate company started buying properties in Cuba. They established some sugar mills, and what's most interesting about this story is that there was a town in Hershey, Cuba that turned out to be pretty much like Hershey, Pennsylvania. There was a beautiful hotel, workers could own their own housing, he owned a railroad, transportation, there was a botanical garden, a golf course, and most interestingly, there was a school for orphans in Hershey, Cuba. So that's kind of a great way to segue into Milton Hershey's school, which really is Milton Hershey's greatest legacy. In 1909, he and his wife established Milton Hershey's School for orphan boys. Over the years, some changes have been made to the deed of trust. Now girls are accepted, and you no longer have to be an orphan, but it still continues to serve almost 2,000 students right now at this point. It's an amazing place, and when we were trying to figure out how we wanted to tell the story of Milton Hershey School, we realized artifacts really wouldn't do the job. So we interviewed over 40 students, staff, and alumni, and they told us about their experiences at the school and how it impacted their life, and it really is touching and moving, and I highly recommend that you spend some time to check out this video if you're ever in Hershey. One of our biggest interactives here at the Hershey Story is a map of Hershey. So if you look on the table, there are lots of spinning numbers. Each one of those numbers corresponds to a building, and each one of these touch screens has a color. So this one is blue, and you can see I'm moving my blue ring around. And what you can do is go land on a different building. So this is the original chocolate factory. I can grab it, bring it back here, drop it into my screen, and then now I can explore the inside of the chocolate factory. So we went around to all these buildings as we were building the museum, and we took footage and 360-degree photos of them. So this is the snack bar line, and embedded within these are icons that you can touch that will show you what actually happens in that space, and you can also project the video onto the wall in front of you. So that's very cool. We also have a link to all multimedia, which includes some old footage. This is taken about 1940 by a man who worked in the longitude department, and it kind of shows them working and having fun and goofing around. And it's interesting because we have a lot of factory produced footage and everyone is very serious, you know, so it's kind of interesting to see what it was really like to work in the factory. The last place I want to show you today is our chocolate lab. This is a really amazing space where we use chocolate to teach geography, history, and science and art. And they're generally 45-minute experiences where you can come in. They're great for kids and adults. And everybody learns a little bit about where cocoa beans are grown and how chocolate is made, and they all get to make something to take with them. So here are some examples. Here's some chocolate art. We have some little machinery gears here, and it's a lot of fun. So that wraps up our tour of the Hershey Story Museum. We really have just scratched the surface, so there's a lot more to see here, and we all have a lot to learn about life when you look at it in the context of how Milton Hershey approached life and business and how he handled himself. So we would love for you to come visit. We're open daily from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and you can find out lots of information about all we have to offer at hersheystory.org. Thank you.